for the first time, besides me? Okay, wow, about half of everybody, right? All right, who's here at the first time at a crypto conference? Oh, wow, several of you. Are you enjoying it? Yeah, it's really well organized, right? Best organized conference you've ever been to, right? So I'm Josh. They call me Dr.Josh or the NFT Professor. I'm the host of CryptoMondays Global. So I go around the world and I attend different Crypto Mondays and support them with sponsors and speakers and things like that. Has anybody attended a Crypto Mondays? All right. So about the same amount of people that are here for the first time. Crypto Mondays is the world's largest and oldest meetups for crypto. You can find them in 50 different cities around the world. We have one in we just had one here for ETH Denver with the CEO of Near. So there's all kinds of different projects. And we also highlight new projects as featured guests. And so who's building something today? Who's building something? Yeah? Okay, so several builders. If your project gets to a certain space, you might want to be on Crypto Mondays and talk about that, right? But today, I'm not going to talk about a bunch of the same old that you've been hearing over and over again about permissionlessness and trustlessness and decentralization and all these things. I'm going to talk about something that's actually near and dear to my heart, which is creativity and intelligences, right? And they told me, so I wear sunglasses a lot on stage because I had an eye surgery that went bad. And they told me, hey, Josh, you know what? If you're in Denver, Colorado, you got to get the proper skiing sunglasses. So I got the proper skiing sunglasses. And then they said that Denver is a mile high. Is anybody from Denver here? Okay, so is it really a mile high? Right? And so, does anybody know that book, Alice in Wonderland? In the book, Alice in Wonderland, the judge, she goes into and the judge says, effective immediately, anyone who is a mile high must leave the court. And Alice says, I'm not a mile high. And then the judge says, oh, but yes, Alice, you're 2 miles high, okay? And so, I don't know, people told me to come out to Denver and get high. They said it was pretty easy. But when you think about Alice in Wonderland and with the nonsense of saying, well, was she 1 mile high or 2 miles high, right? This is what's happening when you're building a lot of your products. You're taking creativity and you're taking it too far. You're taking it, okay, we're going to imbue creativity into everything, and we need to have the most creative solution, and our solution is going to solve all these problems in the world. It's going to solve hunger. It's going to solve debt. It's going to solve starvation. You know, our solution is going to be the great solution, and it's just this little bug. And then you do the solution, and then you add more solutions to it. And then when does it stop? When does this creativity stop? And then how does it work? All right, so I'm going to just discuss mostly for people who are either investing in crypto or blockchain or Web3 or building different products. Let me ask you guys this. How do you define creativity? There's a lot of creative people in here, right? That's all you meet at these conferences. I'm a creative. I'm part of creative. I'm building a platform, a marketplace for creatives. I just heard somebody just now told me that. A marketplace for creatives. Well, what is creativity? Anybody have a guess? What does creativity include? How do you define creativity? Well, we definitely know it includes some type of imagination, right? You imagine something new or something different. There's a possibility of something different. And it also includes, what else would it might include? So imagination and idea. How do I know something's creative? What? It's new. It's exactly. There's an element of originality in creativity. Now, who considers themselves a creative person? In the audience here. There's a couple? Okay, good. So some people, and you should. Because we're all creative in a small c creative way. what they call small c creativity. That's your everyday creativity. That's where you're creating a solution to a problem at work or in your personal life, and you do something creative, you do something different. That also, small c, represents most of the projects in this hall, in this city, in this country, and in the Web3 space globally. Most of your projects, most of your ideas are small c creativity. I want you to keep that in mind. Nobody here has actually created Ethereum or Bitcoin. That's a big C creativity. Nikola Tesla, alternating current, these kind of ideas. I don't know if the iPhone would be considered big C creativity, but it was pretty cool. I think the iPhone would be considered what's called pro C or a middle C creativity. That could be where your project is, but certainly, unless it's on the level of a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, it's not going to be big C. Now, when we reflect on that, when we reflect on the originality of our thinking, the imagination that we have, there's a lot of it on our teams. There's a lot of it in our brains. You might be a designer, you might be a CEO, a founder, you might be a developer, and you want to use your creativity, especially if you're a creative type. And then what else happens is that everybody on your team also wants to use their creativity. So whose do you choose? So I'm going to give you guys 5 different ways to get your creativity right on your team so that you can flow and create those projects. I built one of the first NFT platforms in Ethereum back in 2016, and I've been involved in this space a long time, and I'm on stage all over the world in a different city, in a different country every single week, and I'm interviewing people, some of the best projects. I just had Binance on a couple weeks ago. We had Near, we have everybody on Crypto Mondays. So I hear a lot of stories and I see a lot of creativity in there. The first question that you ask is, who is creative on our team and in what way? So who's the creative person? And in what way? Everybody's creative. If you're some people are creative in social media management, you know, they get creative ideas in that. Some people are creative in their developmental stage. Some people are creative in sales. So who has what skills and abilities that are creative in the ways that we need them to fulfill the goals and reach the aims of our project? Because what I've seen over and over again is a super creative CEO, right? And he's got all the ideas. And other people on the team might also have ideas too. But those ideas are squashed or they're not really listened to because every day the CEO founder has a new idea. And because all of his ideas are great, as we know, we have to implement the founder's ideas at the expense of maybe other people that have creative ideas in another way. So one of the things is saying, well, who's being creative? And then the other question is what? What is it that we are actually creating? What is it? What is our purpose for creating this? Do we need that additional thing to make it better or to add to it? When I say what, I always refer to, when I'm talking to founders, in what we call an MVP. Was anybody able to get an MVP, minimum viable product, out this weekend after the hackathon? Okay, so nobody in our audience. But if you say we have an MVP, we can put this to market, then your creativity can stop for the moment and focus on the things that are valuable, not on building, as they say, but an actual operations, activation, implementation of that minimum viable product, because what happens if you don't try and apply that and implement that? Then more ideas come in, more ideas, you try to implement different things, and it goes nowhere. So we got who, we got what, the next one is when. When do we implement this idea, this creative idea, right? This original thinking. And of course, when don't we? How many people in here have a new idea every day for their business or for their protocol or for their system? Like new ideas. All right, I know, yeah, a couple people I know definitely. New ideas every day. How do you choose which ideas to implement and which ideas not to? As a founder, I assume you're founders. Is there a process that you use? I'm going to come into the audience. Audience question time. Do you have a process?
Yeah, we just look which ones are going to move the needle, which one's going to move us towards kind of like the end goal.
Okay, so, and then you reject the other ones.
Or table them. Maybe not reject them, but table them.
Okay, so he's got a process. It says, if the idea is going to move the needle forward, meaning if that idea converges with the overall goal of the organization, then we implement it. Okay, and then they have, obviously, the procedures to do that. And if it's not, they either table it or get rid of it. Is that similar to what you do? Right? But what's then the criteria for a good idea? Did you think about that? Oh, wait, just a second.
Can you make money?
So the criteria for a good idea is, can it make money? Does it help me? Does it aim towards that goal? Right? Well, it depends on, obviously depends on what you're creating. And then when to use. There might be another goal of implementing people's creativity. Like, for example, if somebody's kind of discouraged and they're a creative type, they like to create stuff. And if you just have them doing administrative work because, oh, well, we have to do whatever it takes to get the job done, and they're not using their creativity, then they're going to become discouraged, and then they might not even want to work with your startup at, $5 an hour or whatever, whatever it is that you're paying them, right? But it's just like with teachers. All I see all day around, especially this country, is a bunch of demotivated teachers, and they have to teach through the core curriculum or whatever it is. They don't get to teach with using their own creativity, but they're creative types. They're creative personalities. So what do you do in a situation in your amazing startup? And I know your startup's Liquid Acre. It's an amazing startup. What do you do when you have these creative types, but you can't implement their ideas because it doesn't move the ball forward? What do you do with that?
Maybe see if they can be creative on how to incorporate their idea into the mission.
Okay, so that's one method you can take. You see? And this is, you could try to incorporate their idea, or you could tell them very nicely. You could say, oh, Stephen, I really love the idea that we have poodles in addition to the other NFT benefits that people get, but, maybe later. So you can, if you're the leader, you can defer it till a later time, or you can say, no, I don't think that this is going to work with the overall aim with our organization. And then they say, well, why not? And we say, well, because it's a stupid idea. No, well, you can say, how about this one? People have tried that before and it didn't work. How many times do you say that to your team when you're trying to create something? Oh, you know what? This or that person did that and it didn't work, or it didn't work like that. You don't ask that question because you're not doing the research about what other people do. You don't have enough research on your competitors. Your competitors can spur new creative ideas. And this is also a message not only to founders, I've been focusing on founders, but finding the creativity in a team is also a great investment approach. So understanding where and when a team uses, because I work with a lot of VCs and investors as well, and they're oftentimes looking at the founders. How about the founding team? Has this person a track record of success? Does this person who is this person? Who is this team? But oftentimes they fail to look at, hey, is that team saturated with creativity and ideas? Or do they also balance that with getting things done? Do they balance that with application of their product or of their idea? Do they work together to where they can actually go to the boss and they can present an idea and the boss says, hey, that's a cool idea, but it's not going to work this time? Do they have that kind of emotional intelligence and connection within the team to do that? And then the question is, how do we spur creativity when we need to have a solution, right? So we have who, what, when, where is the fourth one. Where? Where do we implement our creativity? In what ways? What part of the business needs a creative solution? I came up to this situation with my own nonprofit, which is designed to alleviate student debt for distressed people. And we have a token, and the question is, how could we make this to where we could pay off student debt we could negotiate by and erase student debt of our token holders without making it an ICO? And the way that we do that, so we had to come up with a creative solution to avoid the ICO. Does anybody know how to avoid an ICO in here? The 5 people? No, you don't, right? So that 99% of the projects are going to get caught into regulatory traps or just basically be bought or basically fall apart. But if you find a creative way to move around a system, for example, in a regulatory system, what we're going to do is people invest, and then instead of giving them the money back directly as a return on investment, we cash that out, and then we negotiate that as cash, and then we erase the debt collectively of our token holders. So that way we avoid that ICO. But you can have a small c solution at any time, but just don't be afraid. And that's the last thing I'll say. Don't be afraid to talk to your team, to talk to your friend about an idea. There are very rarely are there bad ideas. There's just ideas that are not good at the moment. So main thing is, don't be afraid of your ideas. If you're a creative person, jump into that, but don't fall into the trap of thinking that you are the only creative person in the world or that all of your ideas are big C ideas, because most of them are going to be little c ideas. And so use your creativity when you can and when it's necessary. So who, what, when, where, and why. Why are we going to create something? Why are we going to add something or take something away? I saw this sign in Princeton. I was there the other day, and I just wanted to share it with everybody because I thought this was the message moving forward. And thank you very much for your time. Become your most creative self. And come check us out on Crypto Mondays, CryptoMondays.io, or you can start a chapter in your city. Just get in touch with me, all right? Take it easy. Thank you very much.